Hi there. Welcome to a quick bite of eCritical. I'm going to take you now through how to how to add a graph or a parameter to your view so that you can customize your layout the way you would like it when you're looking up a particular patient. So this is a test patient in a test environment, and I'm going to add, you can see here that a patient has a systolic and diastolic pressures and a mean arterial pressure. And let me say I'm a bit of a pedantic and I want to see just the systolic blood pressures, and I want to add that parameter to this list so that I can see them also included in the in this table. So I go over an empty space and I right click, and it will bring up a series of choices. And in this case, since I want to add a parameter, I'm just going to click on add, and it brings up a whole list of different parameters that I can add. Because I want to add a vital sign, I just scroll down where it says vital signs, and it gives me a choice of all the different vital signs. Now, I want to see what this patient's systolic blood pressure is in isolation. I'll just select that, arterial blood pressure systolic, just double click on that, and it gets automatically added, as you can see right there. So it's the same systolic as the systolic blood pressure is there, and so now I can look at that. Now, let's say I wanted to actually trend the systolic. I can right click on the systolic and go to the parameter data viewer, click that, and it will bring up all of the systolic blood pressures that are in the system for this patient for this admission. Now, if it's as you can imagine, for something as routine as a systolic blood pressure or a mean pressure, there's going to be a large number of data for you to look at. In this case, because it's just it's a test patient with a little bit of data in it, we have a relatively short list of blood pressures. If I want to look at a graph of that patient's of this blood pressure, I can then just click on the graph button down on the right hand side, and you can see that it is now showing me a graph of all of the systolic blood pressures that have been entered into the system for this patient for this admission. So it's relatively straightforward. Now let's say I want to add a graph because I'm in the cardiovascular graph section, and I'm very curious to see what the patient's say epinephrine, because this patient has an epinephrine infusion running starting at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. I want to add the epigraph because I want to see that instead of just in the tables, I want to actually see that as a graph for some reason. Well, I just click the add a graph button. This form comes up, and I can just select epinephrine graph, and boom, there it is. Down below here, epinephrine is now part of this vital signs trend, and you can see the vital signs at the same time as you can also see the epinephrine infusion rate set down there. I can alter these screens fairly straightforward by just increasing and decreasing the width of the forms. If I want to see some of the other forms in more detail. If I want to remove the epinephrine graph, I can just go over onto this little hand here, right click on that. Under General is the words remove this view, click that, and boom, it disappears. Piece of cake, not a problem.